making a podcast video for work. You know how many people work? There's a lot of people in the world that work, right? But they only work to get money. It's just paper. That's the intention behind the job. But that job makes certain things go round or makes a certain impact on the world that we live on that changes it. The whole time that people think of trying to get ahead to make money. So when they do make it, no matter how they have to make it, say if it's a good paying job, then they think that's good money. Is it good, really good money or bad money? Because the job to get the money, if it has a bad outcome, how is that being a good thing for the world or for any of us? Now, there's so many things going on where they want to put more things into making things better. But that in itself takes a lot of action. And there's people that bought other companies out from other things. But ultimately, if everybody took their time and energy and put it into a conscious thing of that they would feel good about in a job that would be in that category of things. Not everybody does this. Not everybody has a chance to do this. But if more people that had the chance or the power to create certain things for this to happen, to create more jobs in a certain area that would create better impact, that would be cleaner, that would be a little bit more simple. Now, the demand, the supply and the demand between things, they say like there's a demand with certain things, so then they need more workers for that. But with the food thing, we have so much food that we say throw waste. We don't need a demand in that, yet they hire people to do that. If they had less, if they put more availability into other jobs that we could only have for certain things available to, then if everybody filled up the jobs that were benefiting the world, that would help that out. Can't you see how that cycle goes? But no one looks at, okay, I'm making this money, what is my job that is getting me this money doing, and how are you just doing that job just try to get the money then to do something with? But when you do something with, it's only from your own self-benefit of the satisfaction. Because most people do that, and most people have that. But I realized when you didn't have money, to do most of the majority of things that you do with the money, you didn't need money to do it in the first place to go out to do them things. You just think you do. For some other things. The convenience is there, the people to obey them convenience because they're getting paid to do something they don't technically want to do, right? But they're being abided by that to abide somebody else's needs outside of the fact of when they get time off to have their convenience by. But now can't you see that all we wanted was people to be coerced with us and us coerced with them for our good time. But between the money and all that, that's not our good time. But our time to live is we can live with very little. Just to live, right? Or to survive. This world likes to, the demand for, say, certain things to be done in a day. 8-hour day, say, they're really spent with energy. In a way, all that time in the timelines, all them people that worked really hard, the hard workers, they could have worked and put their time and energy into something that builded this even better. Not saying building. I'm just saying putting their time and energy into building something that is eco-friendly to the planet, good to the planet, good for the next generation and stuff. Because when you put all that time and energy in today's planet, today's time and age is so different because of the fact of there's big cities, polluters, and everything going on, and we all know that. But the thing outside of the fact that this whole world is not outside of the fact. Because truly being outside of the fact would be thinking every day outside of the fact. And every day that I do think like this, it brings me more and more to the solution. So the matter of the fact is, what they've been neglecting is their own responsibility. Everybody wants to get by, get by, get by. They're just so worried about getting by. What is the rest of the world doing? Like, when they live in this, the commodity in this, it's only like half the effort gets put into the whole... Do you get what I mean, though? Like, the mandate for houses. They buy more cheaper products, materials, than to get cheaper things out of it. But the thing is that that house wasn't meant to last forever. But if it was, and it was an eco-friendly house to last forever, you wouldn't be tearing off the shingles, you wouldn't be screwing around, you have more time for the next generations to even live in that house, to survive, right? And yet, no one will have to be paying money into that land. It's all an illusion when you're paying money into this land and their structures. That's all like this artificial thing. A bird does not have to pay to live in its nest. Yet, it's never in its nest. And it uses that only to survive in. Now, can't you see that? Can't you see that we're only living in our houses to literally survive, to be paying for it? So every time that you make it look so fancy and cool and put more money into something just for the look, just say, but that look is your whole experience and time. So is that half the look? Was it half the enjoyment into what you get out of it, of how much time after year putting into that house, but just to get back in the money of what it's worth then, to say somebody else to buy? But can't you see, though, we're wrapping our head too much about the material or that physical aspect of ourselves to actually get the underlying thing for the benefits. Because if we look into with this and that of what we're encased in, without looking at, the cause and effect or the other things about it. So there's so many aspects. Sometimes you'll be looking so much into, say, trying to have this good time come about just to get your free time to do something, just to say that you need, but ultimately, if you had the flexible schedule to go into work anytime you wish, or anytime you want, just to make what you want to, and your need is to move on from that, and as well as the fact of that we set our standards for how much we get paid, or how much we pay into, like every month you got to pay, your bills. But that in itself, why do we need to spend that into our own land that we're living at the time of the experience? It's almost like we're pulling all the value and enjoyment into it because we're focused on keeping up with what it is. That it's just an archetypal thought plan for us to waste our time, literally, in the time that we build and try to keep up with ourselves to live in. But if we don't manufacture that differently, right, to live with it, it is pulling that distraction from us, and we're encased into our minds to think that is the ultimate right thing to do, and mankind keeps on getting fixed, and that's why they're on that wavelength. And everybody that you come into contact with that don't think of these other aspects, I'm not just saying yogis or spiritual light masters or to the other side of the fact, whatever, I'm just saying the matter of fact that these people, even though that I could be saying this to them, they could totally get this, right? But before the fact, they would have no clue because it's not brought up into their daily happenings. They're too distracted, pulled into this other archetype. And the other archetype is running their life. But it's just a matter of fact that we have all this to enjoy yet. until that enjoyment's taken away from us and we can't have that anymore, or we are not available to experience that, it's really going to push it to the forefront. People are really going to put value onto that more. But why does it have to get like that for mankind? Why can't they see it before this happens, before this takes place? Or to make moves now before it becomes a real big deal. But it already is in a way, but for certain places and areas. Like this area, okay, when we're in this reality, we think nothing else on the planet is going wrong, but there is certain things going wrong on the planet simultaneously. We can see that, okay, we can enjoy ourselves, live happy, be free, not worry about jack shit. As soon as we start eliminating piece by piece of what's neglecting and degrading this planet of our time, energy, and our future generations are going to deal with the same cycle of this rat race. That really, if we kept up to it, and the demand for food, a lot of food goes to waste, so literally we don't need to put all our job and energy into that if it's keeping up with itself. Or you know, we can actually pull out people from that, maybe putting them into something that helps elevate it even more into a better level to make the outcome happen for this mankind and development. See here, you know what I mean? So you realize that though, what I'm saying. It is so simple. It takes the willingness of people like me, like other people that are doing this, yeah, but it just takes people, say, with that money, with what they saved up and developed, right? Well, I got money, and I'm going to be doing exactly what I'm saying with it, because I'm saving it. But it's ultimately what we put all the focus and intention in. Now, if we keep on putting the energy and believing into the old paradigm of the intention that we have to pay to live, we have to pay for that house to live in, and then that's pulling a lot of our time and our money, and that money could be going into changing things. Everybody would be changing things if it wasn't going into their house every month. If it wasn't going into that every month. Maybe if that part was gone, all the good people in the world that could do things with their money would start doing them when they have more of it to do with. A lot of people with money don't know what the fuck to do with it too. That's the sad part. You know, there's so many aspects to this, guys. There's people with the money but without brains. There's people with the brains without the money. There's people with money and the brains, but then the people trying to stop them. There's so many variables, right? There's land, but yet people and laws saying, oh, you can only do certain things with the land, and you got to spend more money to, say, build on that land that you do buy. There's so many things preventing the common sense from going. But it's ultimately up to the people to make this happen. And ultimately, that's why I'm sacrificing my time and, you know, to work and to save up to do what I'm going to do. And it's, by the end of the week, I'm going to have $500. And with the 290 I got, because I had to break 100 today. But, see, this is the real reality. I mean, real reality of this world, yes, it's with a polarity and characteristics of everything that we created with what we're living in. And the cause and effect of what's happening, but every time the real reality is going to keep on saying the same thing, and all these people keep on saying it. It's just that, how hard is it really to manifest it on the physical earth? It is not. It really isn't. It takes more dedication and willingness. We put our dedication and willingness to the structure that holds here, and that is just making it more the structure that holds here. We start going a little outside of that and putting our time and energy, and that grows it in itself on that function, and it will happen. But more that pull out and give up on the process and stop believing in it, that's when it gives up on that process. If we do give up on the process, it gives up on the process. If we give up on the process of the world, everybody quit their jobs right now. That would be done in itself. That is the whole scale of what's going on here. It's free will to its finest. We all have it, but yet we're a guinea pig to it, thinking we have to have it. We don't. We're just a guinea pig to the thought of what this world keeps cycling every second of the day. Like I said, if we were on another planet that operated totally differently, born on that planet, and say somebody from that planet came to here, well, they would tell the people that it's very possible we have this right now, but then what would the other people that have that information do to try to prevent that from happening out of their own schemes for their time period of now, of their enjoyment to put down, but not for the future generation, see? Because that's the cause and effect of what's happening now. But it's because of the fact that they've been trying to prevent certain things while certain things were trying to go. But that's impossible. You buy the fucking land, you do it, and it's done. It's as simple as that. You know, and it really is as simple as that. You put the intentions and the wherewithal, and people probably wouldn't have, some people wouldn't have the mind to do it, just say it, or the willingness, because of the fear and all the other characteristics are not, or the lack of caring, or the perseverance. But there's so many people with that and everything. We have all that characteristics. Nothing is an excuse on this planet. We all have that capability in the mind to do so. But it's the fact of that, who's ever making these moves, power plays, with the rules and circumstances. That means the money and the governed situations have the pull, obviously. But the obvious factor, if many people came together without that money factor, even with it, see, it doesn't matter. But that itself, with all that, they use their time and energy like we do, workforce, to make all this happen. Man does create everything that we see. So if we think that we can't get together to make something outside of the fact happen, that is just an absurd observation, because anything's possible. And we all know that. We all say that in the spiritual community that it is. And the matter of fact is just when the cycle is going to get like that. When is enough? When is it actually going to click for when people start doing this? You know.